Hello and welcome to the Tarkis Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about the game Ashes of Creation and the node system. Obviously, video is nodes. And really this is a beginner's video. If you have not seen any gameplay of this game or know nothing about it, then these videos are for you. If you're one of those people that have been reading all the developers' comments, Twitch account comments, or even in their forums, or even the videos that they provided, then this video is not for you because you already know what I'm going to be talking about here. And I did take video that I found on YouTube to create this walkthrough. Obviously, I have not played the game. The game is not in release, and I believe even if I was alpha testing it, I don't believe I could share that game footage anyway. So I did go out there to the internet and picked up this game footage, and it's only so that I could explain to you how the system works. And this video, again, is really focused to show newer people to this game or introduce them to this game so that we can get them on board, so that they might be on the fence about the game, and maybe my video can entice them over that fence to come play with us when the game does release. So with that said, this video is going to be about nodes, and we're going to start it here, and I'll pause it now and then to talk about what's going on in the video. So right here we see the world. This is the map that the game developers showed us in their video. And what they've done here is color coding the nodes of influence. And once the nodes pop up here, these black dots, this is when I'm going to actually pause the video and I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. They're trying to show us that in each color-coded area, there is a node somewhere. And this is what they've shown us here as an example. So when we get into the game, we might not know exactly where the village will pop up or stage 1 pops up. So, this is just showing you an example of how it works. So we got the purple spot there, we got the black dot. That black dot is what they're saying is the node. And if any experience or any activity happens in that purple blue area, all the experience gained trickles to that node. So for example, you've got somebody working on a crafting. Let's say they're crafting wagon wheels. Okay, I'm just going to use that as an example. And every time they craft a wagon wheel, they get personal experience. In addition to that, the game's designed is to say, okay, they got that experience for doing that. I'm going to take a portion of whatever formula the developers made to go and throw some experience over to that black dot, that node. And as that node gets more experience, it then will graduate to stage 1. So I'm going to continue the video here because we're going to see that in this video. So this is just them showing you the map, and how the zones are pieced up. And remember, when you get into the world, there is nothing. There is no towns, there's no NPCs, it's just an open world. What happened is an event happened which basically forced everybody off the world. And what the game designers are doing is there are these selective portals. I think there's 3 of them. So you choose which portal you want to use to get into the world. And then once you get into the world through this portal, there's nothing, So the game is going to force people to come out and explore the world. And then as they start doing stuff, they're like, oh, this is a cool spot. I'll start gathering some trees. Or I'll start fishing. Or I'll start banging on some rocks. Like this example here, this person is banging on some rocks. And as you can see, that experience that person is getting is going to the node. See, it's stage 0. So this could happen in any one of those color-coded areas that you saw in the previous map. So you could run for an hour. Let's say you come out of the portal, you run for an hour, you come into an area, and they're like, and you got a team of people, and they're like, yeah, let's go for it right here. And then you would start developing the node. In this example, the node just hit stage 1. And in my video here, it's going to show us here what the stages are and what they, what they're named. So what we've got here, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, stage 6. So there's obviously 6 stages. And looks like my window, I'll shrink it a little bit so you can see that. So what you also need to know is stage 6. There only can be 5 of those in the world. So when a node reaches stage 6, the biggest stage, there only can be 4 others. And then when those start popping up, boom, the server gets capped. And you can't have any more than 5 stage 6 towns. Well, that could be a problem. And that's how the PvP kind of works into this. So all the servers that are going to be out there that the game has, each server is going to be different because the players are going to develop it in different ways. So let's say server A builds a stage 6 city, well, not city, obviously, the metropolitan, I'm saying that right, and they build it. And they unlock some secret monster cavern by doing that. Well, on that server, that's great. Well, then all of a sudden, all the other servers or people might, hear that they unlock that. And everybody's scratching their head, well, we got to go unlock that too. But our server's already capped at 5 of these gems, these 5 of these stage 6 areas. So what has to happen is for you to go unlock that on your server, you're going to need to destroy one of the stage 6 areas on your server to open that up. So that's where some conflict comes in. And, and I'm just kind of rambling here about that a little bit, but I want you to know that there are going to be some strategic placement of where you want these huge towns to be because of what's going on around them. Because as the towns grow in size, content unlocks around you. And you might not know about that epic dungeon dragon god you got to go kill to get, maybe a component for a shield. You didn't know about that until your server unlocked it yourself or another server unlocked it. And that kind of makes you rethink, well, we've got a robust economy, we got a robust world, we've got our 5 stage 6 areas, we're really happy. But then again, there's a lot of game content on the fringes that we haven't seen, and the only way to see that game content is to build a node or to upgrade a node, in that content area. But the server's capped. So a lot of PvP opportunities there. There's going to be some siege battles, and they've got that built into the game. So we're just going to move forward into the video here. And again, this is, if you've already seen this on the internet, then, again, this video wasn't for you. I'm just really kind of looking at the basic stuff here and letting people know what's going on. So I'm going to pause the video one more time here. This is important to know, that as the nodes progress, they're going to progress into one of these 4 categories. And I'm not really sure. I've watched a few videos on this. I don't know if that's an RNG or if when the first stage gets developed, it kind of does a vote for who's in that area and says, what do you want this to be? I'm not really sure, but I do know that it's going to be one of these 4. And these 4 obviously has great meaning for like the end game content. I mean, it's going to be imperative for you to really understand what these categories are about, later in the game. But for this newbie video, I'm just going to kind of just say there's these 4 categories. Each one of them are different, and that the town evolves into that category. I'm going to use the military one because that's going to probably be the simplest one to explain. So let's say the node hits stage 1, and whatever mechanic that the game has says this is a military node. What that means is most of what's going to go on around that city or that development, I keep on using the term city, obviously, the development of that node, stage 1 through 6, is going to be around military. And the quests are going to probably, the NPCs that give you quests from that area is going to probably be military based. It is also going to be run in a military way. So that means the leader of the node, because what happens is when the node reaches a certain, maybe it's stage 1. I thought I saw it was stage 3. At stage 3, that's when kind of voting systems happen, and you get a mayor, and you get somebody, one person, kind of running the thing, and that maybe that's happening at stage 1. But under the military category, if that's what your node's about, I can challenge the guy that's in power. And if I win, guess what? I'm now in power. So, that's how that gets resolved in a military-based node. Whereas the scientific one, I believe that's an actual voting system. So if you want to run for the leader of that node, it's just a generic voting system. People that are citizens of that node can vote you into power. The other categories do other things to get the leader in place, but each one of these is going to be really important, and guilds are going to need to really think about which category that they want to be kind of, because you only can pick one. I mean, you're going to be locked in. I mean, you're only going to pick one. And each one has its advantages and its disadvantages. I even heard that, and I might be wrong about that the scientific one allows for fast travel. Like that's like one of its abilities, and it gives its citizens fast travel ability. And I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but hopefully that's true, because it'd be nice to be able to choose I'm using the word faction, and that's not the right word here. I'm going to say I should go back to the category of because this is not a faction based game. So when everybody gets into the game, there's nobody against anyone else. Like in World of Warcraft, the Horde and the Alliance, I mean, they were always, they were different factions. So they're rolled up onto one or the other. You kind of work it out with fighting. In this game, that's not the case. Every race you can be comes in neutral to everyone else. So how you work with others is going to be important. And PvP is a big portion of this game. And I'm not really going to get into that with, again, this is a node video, and let's just continue talking about the nodes. So this video here is showing us another stage 1 process, the node here. And I believe the animation is going to change here shortly to show us that it's going to evolve into a town. That's what your stage 4 progress is. So what happens now is, as that town evolved, bigger and stronger monsters start getting awoken in the world. And they'll come out and either attack the town, attack the players in the town. So early on, before stage 1, I think a lot of this game is going to be just gathering stuff, getting XP for doing gathering and maybe processing, because a lot of the game content doesn't unlock until your nodes start leveling up. And as they level up, they unlock better and greater content. In this example, it went to stage 5. And during stage 5 for this example, not only does the world start waking up monsters, but the world puts a bridge there. And now those two towns are connected because that hit stage 5. That bridge wasn't there before. So probably merchants couldn't do anything between those towns prior to that bridge. There are going to be boats in this game, and maybe that's what you needed to use before the bridge. Now here is an example. That node hit that level 5, and it woke this monster up, this dragon. And this is what they call an end game boss. And maybe this boss is only unique to that server. Maybe it only unlocked in that server. And then, the people have to come out of the city or the town to come and defend it, or there maybe it wasn't going after the town. Maybe it's just kind of a locked, monster that's there that people can choose to attack now that it's unlocked. You don't know. We really don't know how it's going to work once we get in there. I mean, the game developers have given us clues, and as we know with any game, those tidbits could change depending on how the game actually works real time. You know what I mean? You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you can't pull it off through the code, or once you get a bunch of players in there that are tinkering with it, maybe your plans are going to be diverted into something else because of just the relationship on players, how they interface with your game. I mean, I've seen a lot of games get kind of redeveloped and retooled after people got their hands on it, made it for a better game, better experience. But some of the changes were made to those games took maybe something away from it that they had promised early on. We can't give you that now because we had to kind of work around how people interface with our game. So I would say that I've seen quite a bit of video and quite a bit of wiki posts and Reddit posts, and I think they understand what the players want, and I think they're going to deliver what they're promising, because most of the game content that I've seen on YouTube has shown us that they're trying to bring back I guess I'm going to say it like a feeling. When I originally played World of Warcraft Vanilla, I was like, I felt that game. I felt I wanted to be part of that game. I felt when I came home from work, I wanted to spend a couple hours in that world. I felt immersed. And then obviously, you know what happened. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm looking for that game again. I'm looking for a game where the company's not out to fleece you, because these games that are out here now, that it's all about trade boxes, it's all about spending more money once you buy the game, and I never could understand that concept. Now, World of Warcraft didn't really go down that route. They still stayed subscription based, but I think with World of Warcraft, it just became I don't know, when a game's that successful, it's kind of hard to to improve on something that was quite successful, and maybe your improvements had caused more hardship than they than they were actually trying to. Basically, with World of Warcraft, they, in my opinion, years ago, they went in the wrong direction and they lost player base. I was one of them. And now I'm looking for a game that has more options than World of Warcraft, and Ashes of Creation is going to be that. I mean, Ashes of Creation is going to have this node system we just talked about. It's going to have a robust crafting system. It's going to allow you housing. It's going to allow you to have housing outside of city development, and you can farm similar to Arcade did. It's going to have the boats and ships and trading. The trading is going to be quite unique. I'm going to do a video on trading, so I won't get involved into that in this video. But I'm hoping that this video that I just created kind of entices you to just look at the game and give it a chance. And definitely check out the Apocalypse. It's not an MMO. It's more of a... it's like Fortnite. It's a battle royale. You drop into the world, you pick up items, you try to get those items on you quickly. You go and you last man standing kind of thing. And that's what they've got out there now, and it's free to play, and you should definitely check it out. As for the actual game, we've got some time before that comes out, and I hope to see you there. Well, thank you for joining me.